And the most honest thing I can tell you is that being disabled sucks. I spent my entire life trying to be invisible. The entire thing. I skipped picture days at school. I'm pretty sure my senior yearbook is the only one where I exist. I wanted to be as invisible as I felt. As fate would have it, and not without its glorious sense of humor, I would be diagnosed at 17 with a rare disability. I couldn't be invisible because of Friedrich's ataxia.
Friedrich's ataxia is a disorder where there's impaired mitochondrial function that results in damage to various organ systems. In particular, the nervous system gets damaged, which causes ataxia, where the muscles cannot be moved in a coordinated way. The disorder also affects other organs like the heart and pancreas. The disease gets its name from the German physician Nikolaus Friedrich, who first described the disease over 150 years ago. In individuals with Friedrich's ataxia, the ataxia usually begins in childhood, which causes them to have difficulty in walking. They might have some muscle weakness and loss of proprioception, which is the sense of your position in space relative to other objects. Usually, it affects the legs and then moves up to the torso. A generalized feeling of fatigue is also common. Eventually, most people with Friedrich's ataxia need a wheelchair to get around. In later stages, they may develop complications of cardiomyopathy, such as heart failure, and some even end up losing their vision and hearing. There is no treatment that can slow or halt the progression of Friedrich's ataxia, but symptoms can be managed. For example, physical therapy can help maintain muscle function.
And the most honest thing I can tell you, and I wish I could have told myself, or at least I wish I would have believed myself, is that being disabled sucks. Lots of things happen to you at once when you're diagnosed with a rare disability. But the first and foremost thing is everybody bombards you with all the greatest and the best videos or stories or news reports or images they saw on Facebook of disabled people who achieved great and wonderful things.
After losing my arm, daily tasks like cutting an apple, and all of a sudden I didn't know how to put my hair up, and learning how to surf with one arm was really challenging. On the race, I will have to be adaptable, but I often think of myself as more capable than the average person.
And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand.
As a reporter, I've covered too many stories to count. A lot of them are memorable, but there's one that people ask me about more than any other. Nick Vujicic. He's a remarkable man from Brisbane. I first met more than a decade ago. Excuse the pun, but Nick was dealt the toughest of hands. He was born without them. No arms or legs either. But has it stopped him? No way. As you'll see, his life just gets more and more wonderful.
And you go from being a high school student with a scholarship to a film school to, here you go, have a disability that's going to get worse over time and nobody knows about it, and you're just on your own to figure things out. And you have no money and no resources and no support system. Have fun. The comparison to these disabled people who achieve these great things becomes its own obstacle, its own barrier, and it's a boulder like Sisyphus that you're just pushing up a hill over and over and over and over again because you can't reach the idealism. You can't reach this constructed fantasy in people's heads. This basically it's pull yourself up by your bootstraps, don't cry, don't whine, no excuses, go for it. There's no barriers. It's the imaginary world that I think certain politicians think we live in, where there's nothing in the way of achieving something. Not to say that the things in the way you can't figure out how to get through them, but admitting that they're there. It's the whole point. And the whole reason why I wanted to start the series. Why do this? I mean, the chances of success is low, but the information that I needed that helped me even have a passably livable life was so hard to get to. And people's fantasy of what being disabled is so prominent. It's you Google it and it's 10 pages of you're the bestest ever. But you have to go to like page 15 to get the honest reality of how you overcome those barriers or how you find the information or how you advocate for yourself or how you plan for a future when the future is toxic. I want to show you what it's like being a toxic, what it sounds like, what it looks like. Be a real person telling you real information who's not at the end. I don't have a whole lot of money. I don't have success. The jobs I worked are underpaid jobs. So, are you ready for this?